I'm sitting with my wife last night and I just blurted out, man, I miss doing submissions. I used to submit comics a lot more, and in 2025, I've got like a couple submissions in the beginning of the year, and that's pretty much it. And dude, I miss it. I miss the endorphin rush of getting a super cool book in a super cool grade. And my wife's a good sport because she doesn't care about any of this, but she says I should do a video talking about my favorite submissions ever, so that's what we're going to do today. And who knows, maybe this will get the creative juices flowing again and get me doing some more submissions. My favorite submissions, which you'll see in this top 10, are definitely childhood books and characters that were really cool to hunt when no one else was hunting, or 70s 9.8s, which I think is the sexiest thing in the world. I've even gotten some 60s 9.8s, but my brain's more hardwired to enjoy the 70s 9.8s. I think I just like the art better, and there's something absurd about a 9.8, especially from the early 70s. It's just, whoo, too sexy for words to describe. Speaking of sexy 9.8s, don't forget to comment on this video. What is a book that you've ever gotten graded that absolutely gave you the endorphin rush? You could be a winner of the first full appearance of Venom in 9.8 white pages at the 50,000 subscriber mark. I think the first book I'm going to mention for you is Wonder Woman, the 1994 preview. Wonder Woman number 90 is the first appearance of Artemis, but what few people know is they actually made a sort of preview booklet. Lord knows how many of these were actually made. It doesn't seem to be many at all. Very hard to find. And I have, I believe, the only 9.8. This was about 3 years ago, so it's really hard to find a picture of it. Kind of hard to explain, but it's in this almost like kids' arts and crafts feel to the touch. And it's the entire Wonder Woman 90, but on a magazine size and black and white. And it's actually cool because a couple things were changed before the final release. I actually mentioned it in a video, and a guy responded to the video and said, hey, I'm going to pay you pretty crazy money for it. And it was not for sale, but I like crazy money. So I ended up selling that and an actual Wonder Woman 90 as a sort of bundle to the guy, and it made him very happy. But that was one of my first brushes with a one-of-a-kind book, and that was a high I've been chasing to this day. Next is going to be Swamp Thing number 90, first appearance of Tefe Holland. There's a couple things about this 9.8 that made me go crazy. For one, it's an all-black spine. Anyone knows trying to get 9.8s out of an all-black spine, especially on a book that's 40 years old, is going to be pretty darn hard. Secondly, this is DC Vertigo. There's a lot less printed of it. Thirdly, it's a horribly underrated and maybe even a little bit forgotten character still, daughter of Swamp Thing and Abby Arcane. Love the book, love the character, and what I did is I actually went on eBay. I knew I wasn't going to profit. I grabbed up anything that had a near mint in the title. I think I grabbed every single one listed, and I got 25 of them. I sent them off to CGC, and only one got the 9.8. And that was one of the most ill-advised, but felt like such a huge wins I've had in this hobby. The funny thing is, I actually got another one this past year, and it was just part of a Swamp Thing collection that was all near mint. And I said, I'm going to try it again, and I got it again. So it's a very, very tough, incredibly scarce 9.8. Sometimes it's not about profiting. Sometimes it's just about getting the damn book in that damn grade, and I got it. Next one's going to be the most cheap one on the list, but it was question number 33, first Harold Allnut. This is a character that was on nobody's radar, but I was, I don't know, sitting around 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, just thinking about, hey, whatever happened to Harold Allnut? The sad answer is actually Hush kills him. But this was kind of like the repairman for the Batcave. It's a character I really loved from the 90s Batman stuff. And he's on no one's radar, no one cares, but his first appearance was in a Question issue, not a Batman issue. And lower print count, lesser picked up, hard to find, and I actually got my hands on a near mint one day, and I threw it in on a submission, and would you know, it got the 9.8. And I think if I remember correctly, the slab didn't even say first appearance of Harold Allnut, so I actually had to get them to update the notes to finally do it, which means I had to send the book back to get them to update it, because I'm such a persistent son of a gun. You guys know me. The thrill of those underrated childhood characters, 9/8s, there's nothing like it, and that's one of the best examples I've done. The next one is Astonishing Tales 13. What's really cool about this one is I'd been buying from a dude who had a bunch of 80s and 70s stuff. Sometimes it was near mint, sometimes it was very fine. This book was actually like near mint plus to mint on its own. It even looked like a possible 9.8 before any pressing. And that's the thing. I didn't clean and press. I sent the book to a Roy Thomas signing, and it got the 9.8 with his signature, which at the time, I don't know if it still is the only 9.8 white page signed by Roy Thomas of this book. The key significance is it's the second appearance, but also first cover appearance of Man-Thing. Obviously, you heard me say I like Swamp Thing. Man-Thing's pretty darn close. It was the thrill of getting a damn good 70s 9.8 with white pages, especially having skipped the entire clean and press. That just gave me such a high. I had it for about a year and then sold it to a close friend. He actually bought it off of eBay, and that was awesome. The next one is this guy. This is Superman #4, first appearance of Bloodsport, one of my favorite Superman characters, and I got this copy for $50. Now, you're probably saying it looks a little different. This is the London Magazine version, and there's one thing I love more than anything. When you go to Google something and you can't find any information. I couldn't find this on my comic shop. eBay sold, but even eBay listed. I literally could not find any information for the London Magazine press versions of the Superman books. So it's definitely some awesome scarcity for sure. And what's really cool about it, it had a slight spine roll, and I did the cleaning and pressing myself, which I rarely do. I don't think I'm that good, quite honestly. I did it myself, sent it into a magazine submission. It got the 9.8. And I just think it's the coolest thing ever. The regular cover has all white, and this one's red. So I think it's way cooler. Plus, I like how CGC still says it's the first appearance of Bloodsport up there. Super cool. I love that I got it to be a 9.8 myself. It is a one of a kind. Not only can I find no information on all the raws, but this is the only one on the census for a 9.8 or really any grade of this book. That's super freaking cool to me. Then we got this guy, Green Lantern 87. Now, I'm a 90s, 2000s kid, so we love our Jon Stewarts, right? We know the animated version. Hopefully that's going to be somewhat what we get in the James Gunn world. Regardless, a 9.8 of Jon Stewart, I've been saying for years, is a grail of mine. I had a 9.4 with white pages, and I sent it to Barry from Comic Presser, and he was able to just give it that necessary nudge that it ended up with a 9.8. The only thing that's a little bit weird, it actually lost the white pages. It's now off-white to white pages. That just happens sometimes, who knows? Especially having been a book that I owned and saw the grade bump happen, I was over the moon, and obviously it leaves the greatest glowing recommendation for comicpresser.com. I mean, my God. I'm not always comfortable doing it myself, so it's nice being able to send it to some people and see some great grades happen, and this is the best example I got of it. I am selling the Green Lantern collection because I got a lot of very scary big bills that I got to pay for, but you know what? Just the fact that I achieved it is everything. Then, unfortunately, I don't have it anymore, but that's okay. Detective Comics 415. And it's actually not even the only Detective Comics Neil Adams 9.8 I've ever achieved. What was particularly cool about this one is this one got white pages. It actually did happen while I had the YouTube channel. I got it in so fast that one of my dear friends saw it and was like, I have to have that. I don't care. You have to sell that to me. And I was like, dude, this is amazing. I haven't even made a video about it. I haven't done anything. This is gorgeous. He's like, dude, name your price. And we were finding, I think the fair market values were around $1,000. So I just told him, let's do $1,000. And to this day, he still got it up on his wall. He still says it's his favorite book that he has slabbed. So the fact that I still get to see it on a regular basis, that's super awesome. It was cherished by me, and it seems to be even more cherished by this guy. Plus, damn, that is an underrated Neil Adams cover right there. And a 9.8 white page. Chef's kiss, man. 70s 9.8s. I'm telling you, man, there's nothing sexier. It's incredible. On a similar train, I'm going to mention some Swamp Things. This was Swamp Thing number 7. I got a 9.8 white. And I'm mentioning number 7, even though I had 9/8 of issue 9, issue 2, and issue 3, number 7 was the one that I sent in and got the 9.8 myself. I paid up for during COVID, mind you, 2, 3, and 9, and I was able to get those 9.8s, but they were very expensive. This one was a raw copy. It was never previously slabbed. It already kind of looked like a 9.8, and I just sent it to a different guy who was able to get it cleaned and pressed, and he got it to be perfect off-the-shelf condition, and it did get the 9.8 white page. First meeting of Swamp Thing and Batman. My favorite characters with DC are Swamp Thing, Batman, John Constantine, any of that kind of darker stuff. So obviously a book like that was amazing to me. If we wanted to open the list up and talk about 9.8s that I've bought, I would definitely have to mention number 2. First Anton Arcane, first Patchwork Man. Absolutely ridiculous book to get in a 9.8. That's just crazy to me. I still can't believe I owned that. That was just nuts. And that one was a white pages, so that gives it a little extra crazy boost for me. Second to last is when I completed the Batman and Robin Adventures run. This is an extremely Mint Hunter Comics thing to do. I do not recommend this. There's no way I profited on this. In fact, I probably lost about twice my investment. But I had some Batman and Robin adventures. I threw them in on a submission and all of them got 9.8. So I was missing like 8 of them. And over the course of the next couple years, I tracked down perfect copies of these raw. And I was able to fill the entire run of 1 through 25, all in 9.8. This was my first taste of completing an entire volume in a 9.8 white page. And when I tell you the high this gave me, if you've never done something like this yourself, it's kind of hard to compare it to anything. The thrill of getting it all and that feeling when I got the final book reached the 9.8, I was on cloud 9. Funny thing is, the fair market value of all of it isn't that crazy. So when I sold it to a gentleman that bought the entire thing, I definitely lost money. Oh, God, I can't even imagine. But I loved the covers. I loved the thrill of getting it. And sometimes financials be damned. You just have to do it to be fun. And that gave me so much fun in the hobby. And that's what I kind of miss, man. I miss the thrill of hunting this shit. All right, and then my last one was something I completed extremely recently. I made an entire video about it, so I'm sorry to be mentioning it again, but it's the time I got all DC Universe logo variants of the entire Contagion storyline, which came out in different titles: Batman, Azrael, Shadow of the Bat, Catwoman. Really hard to get this stuff in a very specific and rare variant to get a 9.8. Some of these books were incredibly hard to find just 1 or 2 copies of, much less find them in 9.8 candidates. And even though it's spread between CBCS and CGC, so you know my OCD is going a little crazy, I still consider this to be one of my biggest wins and one of my biggest testaments to, can I do it? Yes, I can. If you were to ask anyone, they would all tell you, don't do that. Stop wasting your money. You're going to lose tons of money trying to do this. Oh, sure. But it's not about that, again. In fact, I think the majority of this list was either break even or a significant loss. And it's funny how that's the stuff that gave me the most joy. So that's my easy top 10 favorite CGC submissions of all time. Also, let's go ahead and mention my Nightfall wall. You guys have seen this before, but that is a serious undertaking. That should have been in the top 10. Oh well, here it is now. Funny, people love to crap on the grading companies a little bit. It's become kind of popular to do so. But man, when I tell you, I mean, we're called Mint Hunter Comics. When you get that crazy grade after hunting it down, it's a good feeling, man. What are some books that you've hunted yourself that you've thought was a major victory? Let me know down in the comments. Keep on hunting, and I'll see you at the next video. Make sure to come on down to Sentiment Depot's Antiques and Collectibles, located at 238 West Delaware Ave in Pennington, New Jersey. Find so many great books for just $1 and the lowest prices on key comics around. Enjoy a huge selection of graded comics priced up to 20% lower than current fair market value. We are open from Wednesday to Sunday, closed Monday, Tuesday. You got a collection you want to sell? Bring that too. Can't wait to see you there.